Morning.
Oh dear. Good morning and welcome to the Ashes to Rubies live stream, and or some of you are listening on podcast, where we talk about life in recovery.
A bit more.
A little bit more sometimes a lot more.
I would-
We can chat, we can ramble.
We do ramble too much sometimes. I was thinking this morning because you're quite the public speaker. Like you
Cool.
actually get to speak to the public at some level.
I am.
Yeah.
I do.
What is the word like when you hear public speaking? And like I don't think you like critique people when they speak. I think you're
Generous,
generous.
kind.
I'm always looking for what I can get out of whatever somebody's talking about, but there are certain words that I'm like, you shouldn't say that.
I believe that no matter where I go, no matter who I'm listening to, there can be something for me.
Yes,
I'm going to learn something.
That is true. That is receptivity.
I do know that you have major pet peeves around the word or like any kind of repetitive space filler word.
No, I wish I didn't say like those are things that I have heard myself in horrific replays, and I'm like, I don't talk like that. Why am I talking like that now? And it's just anxiety. But if there's one word that I dislike, what is your word?
Anyways.
Oh, that's my word.
I know
it's true. Okay.
Boy,
if we could stop.
I say that, boy, do you point it out.
Anyways.
Boy, do you point it out to people who say that. That's.
Or
yeah. The trouble is, it's a rude. It feels like a little bit of a rude word, especially if I'm speaking. If you're speaking.
So, anyways.
Yeah, it feels rude. We just have to be cautious.
It's a discredit.
But we have to be cautious that we aren't ruder in response.
Oh, because like I'm not like we're not responding to people on a public stage, so we're not responding to each other. Yes, in our private life. Anyways, I'm just giving live examples. Or the word "hear me," like listen to this, and I'm like, we're already listening. There's like
one of the things that I try not to say when I'm speaking is to imply that you already know something. If I'm going to tell you something, I don't want to preface it by saying, I'm sure you've heard, or as we all know, or, you know, you've heard this before. Like there's lots of those kind of little phrases that I catch myself. I have caught myself in the past, and I definitely try to eliminate that.
Where did you get that?
Because that puts like, what if there's somebody in the room that doesn't know that? I feel like it would make them feel bad because everybody else knows it. Oh, yeah. Wow, I should know this, but I don't know it. And so that I try to speak so that like it includes the whole room. And actually I'm more concerned about the person who has zero clue about what I'm talking about.
I learned that lesson when I first spoke at a camp, and when the bass player in the band, he was like a kid in high school. He came over and said, "Could I give you some constructive criticism, feedback?" Cute. I'm like, "Yeah." And so that was one of the things.
It was.
Yeah. He goes, "Don't assume that people know the story of Noah and the Ark. Like, just explain the story. Right. Don't say." I was like, "Oh wow, I've remembered that for the last like 15 years."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, are we getting into our reading?
Let's do it.
Was that your preface?
Or
your intro?
I was just thinking, like, I believe that when I see somebody that's like
so hard to segue sometimes,
but like a really good communicator, you're just like, when they're done, it was just like, the time flew. It's 45 minutes. And like, I remember all of their points, and they were just like, when you realize that there are some people that are amazing communicators, and you're like, yeah, I can't do that. Like that is like, that guy's a pro.
All right.
I want to be like that one.
Are we segueing now? Are you going to segue us?
Do our thought.
Okay.
Thought of the day.
So we're going to read a thought for today, and then we're going to read a meditation that hopefully you'll take a little piece of to go through the day. We'll chat about it, and then we will pray a blessing on our way out. So today, September 12th, what draws a newcomer to God and gives him hope? He hears the stories of men and women whose experiences tally with his own, the expressions on the faces of the women, that undefinable something in the eyes of the men, the stimulating and electric atmosphere of fellowship rooms. Conspire to let him know that there is haven at last. the very practical approach to his problems, the absence of intolerance of any kind, the informality, the genuine democracy, the uncanny understanding which these people in the fellowship have is irresistible. Have I found a real haven in AA, in the fellowship,
or in a fellowship,
in community, so meditation for today. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. The eye of the soul is the will. If your will is to do the will of God, to serve God with your life, to serve God by helping others, then truly shall your whole body be full of light. The important thing is to strive that your will be attuned to the will of God. A single eye to God's purpose, desiring nothing less than his purposes be fulfilled. Try to seek in all things the advance of his kingdom. Seek the spiritual values of honesty and purity, unselfishness and love, and earnestly desire spiritual growth. Then your life will emerge from the darkness of futility into the light of victory.
Man. I think what I got out of it is that people are attracted to this single purpose that I can have in my life, that my single purpose is to do the will of God. And I think that can draw people in because they've seen all these problems, whether it's, full blown addiction in their homes or in their own lives and their families and the destruction. And then they see that our lives have been cleaned up. And the only thing it took was the power of God. And then that becomes our mission. And you're kind of inviting people into that where there's a bigger mission. It's not just like smoothing over your relationships at home and being like, oh, I did some bad stuff again. And like, that is such a inward purpose. And so now we're asking people, like we're inviting people in to join a greater, bigger purpose. And that's to do the will of God.
Yeah, I was sharing last night because we started a new LifeLab workshop. I actually had 2 workshops start yesterday for a LifeLab.
I only got one.
Spiritual awakening workshop. And it was just a time thing. So some people needed daytime, some people needed nighttime. I think, anyway, we're not working. It's not a competition, John.
You're awesome.
No.
I'm saying like that's great.
It had nothing to do with me. It just happened. So I was trying to explain why we do this. And I was just talking about like, there could be, actually what I was talking about is how this is peer support. And we're just here to create space for you to work through your stuff and figure out who God is and have some things be figured out. We're not counselors. We're not therapists. We're not going to give you advice. We're not, I was saying that kind of thing. And then I was like, yeah, like our marriage worked out, but really I have no idea why. And the only explanation is God. That's it. Like I just, lots of people will say like, what did you guys do? How did you guys? And I'm like,
give me the recipe.
There's no recipe. It's a miracle. Every day it's a miracle.
Yeah. When people say like, oh, should I stay or should I go or should I get rid of him? And it's like, but you guys, and it's like, oh, we don't have there's not a cookie cutter. Yeah. It's just do the will of God. That's our singleness of purpose.
Yeah.
And it'll work out. God will work it all out in your life. It might look differently. I don't know. Really good.
Should I pray us out?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to pray a blessing over you. I pray that your eye may be focused on the one purpose. I pray that your life may be lived in the light of the best that I know. Amen.
Amen. Keep the peace, be of good behavior, and we will see you tomorrow.